Greetings from South Dakota School of Mines campus, the Christensen Hall of Fame. Today and every day is a great day to be a Hardrocker. I want to thank everyone for all their support through this unique, fluid, dynamic situation that we're in with COVID. I want to commend our scholar athletes. They've been working exceptionally hard because, as we all know, this isn't normal. They're meeting all the guidelines set up by the NCAA, by campus, and through the athletic department. They're taking classes online, they're taking classes in a hybrid manner, and they're taking them in person. Their grit, their effort is really going to pay off for them down the road, and we're all going to get better from this situation. We're currently in M Week, modified by COVID-19. Friday we have the Hardrocker Golf Classic at Arrowhead at 9 a.m. registration and 10 o'clock shotgun start. I think there are just a couple slots left. Friday evening we will scrimmage volleyball at 7 p.m. and celebrate senior Emma Boki, who's graduating in December. This will be live streamed at www.gorockers.com if you're unable to make it. Our capacity for this event is going to be about 256 people. So if you want to come watch, you probably better get there early. Saturday, we're going to have an open football practice, 3 o'clock. The gates will open actually at 2 o'clock. So if you want to come and get used to tailgating again, we would sure like to see you there. Practice, like I said, will start at 3. We'll have the running of the M at various times during practice when they take their break, and then we'll also have the King and Queen coronation. Again, gates open up at 2 o'clock for the ramps. On Sunday, we have a soccer scrimmage at the stadium at 1 o'clock, and that will also be live streamed, but we'd love to see you out at the stadium, maybe back-to-back days tailgating, watching Hardrocker athletics. You know, COVID-19 has obviously put us all in unique situations, and the NCAA has come up with some mandates with their re-socialization of college athletics. They've categorized sports into high, medium, and low risk. Our high-risk sports are football, basketball, volleyball, and soccer. And just due to the fact that it's very hard and almost impossible to socially distance. Once teams are in the championship season, meaning playing games, RMAC games, we are required by the NCAA to test weekly. So right now we're testing our football program, our coaches and those individuals around them on a weekly basis. Medium risk, which is cross country, on our campus, we are required to test 25% of the roster on a bi-weekly basis. And what we've done is we've worked those testing around their competition. Cross country starts this weekend up at Spearfish. Low risk sports include golf and track and field. Golf has been operating as normal, and to this point track and field has been operating on a semi-normal. Home football schedule. I encourage you, today's the day. We sent the email out to get your ramp spots, your chair backs, and your general admission tickets. I encourage you to give the ticket office a call, 605-394-2351, 605-394-2351, and get your tickets and your ramp spots. Our schedule goes as follows. Black Hills State here, 10:10 at 5 p.m. At Shadron on October 17th at 5 p.m. At Mesa on October 24th for a noon start. And then Shadron here on Halloween at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then we will go up to Black Hills State on the 7th of November for a 1 o'clock start. All of our games can be seen on www.gorockers.com, and football will be broadcast on Fox Sports Radio in Rapid City. Our capacity for O'Hara Stadium this year, due to COVID-19, will be 2,409. We will allow 1,550 people in the ramps That is 6 people per ramp spot. And we will have 861 in either the grandstand and additional bleachers following social distancing guidelines. And it will be highly suggested that everyone wear a mask. The ramps are, as always, the best place to watch Hardrocker football. So get your ramp spots, folks. We will not be allowing re-entry this year. We are going to have to maintain a strict guideline on our capacity. So once you're in the stadium, you're in for the duration, or you're leaving and you will not be allowed back in. We will also not be allowing access on the field like we have in the past, before, during, or after our football games, unless you are essential personnel to what's taking place. A little bit about basketball and some other sports. Basketball at this point will start in November and play an RMAC schedule of 22 games. Volleyball and soccer will have their championship season and RMAC season start this spring. Those schedules are being finalized and waiting on athletic director approval and presidential approval. This is, as I stated earlier, a very unique situation, but I'll reiterate, I can't be more proud of our coaching staff, our admin, our campus for that matter, and our scholar athletes on how they're approaching this and they're handling this. It's fantastic. So I know right now Brad has some questions that people have sent in, and I'm going to do my best to answer those for him.
Okay, first question from Facebook Live is, could you please explain student athletic eligibility with the shortened fall seasons?
Yeah, so essentially right now this year for our fall teams, they're getting 2 semesters of eligibility back. So we're going to play 5 football games. We're going to play the RMAC schedule for volleyball and soccer. They're essentially getting a free year. Their stats are going to count. The coaching record's going to count. But our kids are going to get that 5th year or extra year of eligibility if that's something that they choose that they want to do.
Okay. The next question came from on campus here through an email. How are the students and the coaches reacting to the uncertainties with the season schedules and etc.?
Yeah, they've been fantastic. It's you know, most coaches are type A. They like plans. They like things drawn out. They like to know what's going to take place for the entire week, if not the entire month or the entire season. So we've been preparing for it in staff meetings. We've been talking to them about it. The coaches have been preparing their athletes in the Zoom meetings in the spring and in the summer. I think the silver lining in this is that we've been allowed by the NCAA to actually have more contact with our coaches and our staff and our athletes, which has helped us get through this process.
Okay. Question from Facebook Live from Tom Rudebush, the voice of Hardrocker Athletics.
How you doing, Tom?
Will football also have a spring season?
Yes, we're planning on having a traditional spring season. Charlie and I haven't talked about whether we will play like a real game or some sort of controlled scrimmage against competition. But at this point, we are planning on having a regular spring schedule. And you know, first of all, we're trying to get through this modified fall season.
All right. Another question from Facebook Live is, could you please outline the safety requirements for spectators attending the soccer scrimmage on Sunday?
Outline the safety requirements. So with anything on our campus right now, we're going to ask you to socially distance. We are going to highly recommend that you wear a mask. You will not be allowed on the field of play. So you'll be either in the grandstand behind the fence or in the ramps behind the fence, and no one will be allowed on the field. at any time. Restrooms will be open. There'll be no concessions or anything like that, but the restrooms will be open. There'll be trash out there. So my suggestion is grab your portable grill or your grill and tailgate and watch some soccer.
Okay, next question. Is there a possibility of soccer and volleyball still playing in the fall, or is that strictly for the spring season?
It's strictly spring. We made a decision to move, the NCAA made a decision to move, and the RMAC made a decision to move soccer and volleyball to the spring, and that's what we're going to do. There's going to be an RMAC conference schedule, and there'll be an RMAC championship, and our kids all want to compete for a championship, so that's what we're going to do.
This question from our Instagram Hardrocker Athletic account. What are things looking like around the rest of the RMAC?
You know, everybody's a little bit different. There were schools that were at the very start were a little more proactive than others. A lot of it is also dictated by their state's politics. Some states have restrictions on coming in with a 14-day quarantine and then leaving on a 14-day quarantine. We're hoping as the year goes by and gets through that we'll all have a little more common ground. We're operating a little different here in the state of South Dakota than they are in Colorado, which is allowing us to play football this fall. So it's a little bit different. It really depends on each institution. For the most part, though, all the RMAC schools, their athletes are on campus and they're trying to get practices in, whether it be online, hybrid, or in-person classes.
Okay, and last question for you, Joel. What happens, and this was from Twitter, what happens if the campus goes all online again? Can athletics still happen?
Well, my hope is that that's going to take place. That's something that other schools in the RMAC and across the country are doing. Even if they're online, their athletes are here and able to practice and participate in athletics. Dr. Rankin and campus leadership, we haven't talked about that yet. The plan is to make it through the entire semester and the entire year with the format of what we've got right now, which is in-person, hybrid, and a combination of online classes, but everyone being on campus. So I'm crossing my fingers. We're going to do our part in the athletic department to make sure that that happens. And with our testing and our protocols, and our kids are going to do everything they can so that they can stay on campus and we can get through this year.
Okay, thank you for your time.
You bet. Thank you. As I stated earlier, and it'll never change, today and every day is a great day to be a Hardrocker. If anyone out there is interested in becoming the sponsor of our weekly coaches show online, please hit up the Hard Rock Club, or you can hit myself up at joel.luken@sdsmnt.edu, or give me a call. Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right, next up we'll have the football head coach, Charlie Floor.
We are curious. We are tenacious. We've got what it takes to change the world. As one of the nation's premier engineering, science, and technology universities, South Dakota Mines is at the forefront of what's next. We embrace challenges, we let our curiosity lead, and we build a confidence supported by teamwork and collaboration. From our beginnings as a mining school to our status today as a world-class engineering and science university, South Dakota Mines continues to transform our students, our communities, and our world. South Dakota Mines, advancing the frontier of innovation.
Okay. You ready, Coach?
Yeah. Hello, Hardrocker Nation. Just Charlie Floor here, head football coach. Wanted to give everybody an update with Hardrocker football and where we're currently at within our program. 2 weeks ago, our school director of athletics, Joel Luncheon, broke the news to our football team that we would be participating in a championship season this year. And from 2 weeks ago today, we've been progressing forward. Last Monday was our first official day of football practice. Yesterday we just finished our 7th practice on campus, and the team's really excited. Ever since the school had broke the news to them, it really got them refocused and getting ready to go for the season. Obviously the season will look a little bit different this year with only having 5 home games. But just to go back, I cannot thank our school, our president, Dr. Rankin, and his staff, our administrative team with Joel Lucan and his administrative staff, and everybody that was involved in this. I know they put in countless hours to make this a possibility, and our team is very appreciative of it. Obviously with the modified schedule, our first game is not until October 10th against Black Hills State, which has really focused us in regards to how we're going to go through the season and fall camp. We did not get the opportunity to actually have a fall camp this year before school started, so we've had to adjust things with classes and practice times and different things like that to make sure we can get out and practice every day with our 1 day off. So it's been great. Our kids have been energetic. We've had a little bit of adversity just with how we've had to practice a couple different days here and there, but I can't tell you how resilient our kids have been with that, and just the excitement that every day that they come out onto the field and are ready to go for practice. So with that being said, I'll leave it to some questions.
Okay, Coach. First question from Facebook Live. How has the team been handling the pandemic as far as practice and your daily routines?
Our team's handled it really well. It's one of those deals like everything else right now in the country. Everything is so fluid. So there'll be days that they'll show up and we've had to modify our practice schedule, or there'll be days that maybe some of their classes went from face-to-face to a hybrid model or completely online. So they've handled that very well. Communication is a big part of our program, and they've had to continue to have that communication with us, and we've had to adjust on the fly. And some days we've had to shorten practice because of those things. Some days we've been able to extend practice a little bit. Some days we've had our freshmen and then everybody else go. So it has made a little bit of a challenge for us from the football side of things, because there are some days we aren't all together, but our coaching staff's done a phenomenal job of getting our kids ready to go for that certain day, because like I said, everything's been so fluid for us, not only as a football program, but just us as a country as well, and our kids have done a really good job of, once they're there, getting focused on the task at hand.
Okay, and then to piggyback on that question, also from Facebook Live, what has been the biggest challenge for you as a first-year head coach and just day-to-day operations?
Yeah, the biggest challenge for me is, like Joel Lucan mentioned before, us as coaches are typically type A personalities, and we have a plan. There were weeks or months where we would have a plan, and probably every day that week the plan got changed. So, just from my standpoint is, coming into the office, meeting with our medical people, with our administrative team, and, just having those conversations for where we're at, and then, continue to plan practice. The other thing for us is, we're on campus about 3 weeks before school starts, and this year we were not able to have that fall camp. So, from our standpoint, trying to get ready for a football game, typically do all that stuff before classes start. Well, this year we're preparing our 4-week fall camp while classes are in session, so we're not getting as much time with our guys in person as we would typically get, and just really focusing in on let them being students first, and then when they come to the football side of things, making sure we're efficient with their time where we can get work done, and then let them go back to the student side of things.
Okay, thank you. This question came by email. Can you give us an idea of what style of offense the Hardrockers will have this year?
We're going to be real versatile. We're going to, just try and establish the run, program that I previously came from, and just my overall coaching philosophy is, in order for you to win games, you got to be able to run the football, stop the run, and then be great on special teams. So, offensively, we want to try and establish the run. Kind of be a pro-style offense where we're doing a little bit of RPO stuff, and trying to get the ball in our playmakers' hands. And, after the last 7 days, we've had some older kids and some younger kids that have really stepped up and shown us what they've been able to do. And that's been the big thing for us is, just getting a feel for who we are as a football team. And once we get a little bit more comfortable with who we have and what we're going to be like on the offensive side of the football, then just continuing to trend in that direction.
Okay. Next question came from Twitter. Given the current situation, how do you feel about the shortened football season?
For me, I'm just so ecstatic for our student athletes. The emotional roller coaster that our student athletes have gone through, even us as coaches. We're just really excited that our school made the decision to give us the opportunity to play games this fall. And whatever that schedule looked like, we were going to take advantage of it and make the most of our opportunities. And when we broke the news to the team, I met with our senior class right after that, and they're so excited that we're getting the opportunity to play football games this fall, whether it be 1, 5, or maybe even an outside competition this spring. But we're so happy here that we're getting the opportunities to play football games, and what that looks like or how many. That'll obviously still be to be determined. But the shortened season, we're going. We're going to get as many games in as we can and compete in every one of them.
Okay, I think you may have answered this question, but I'll ask it anyway. Is there a possibility to play more games this fall or even next spring?
Yeah, we're still currently, trying to potentially find some more games this fall. I know my phone and Joe Lucan's phone have been blowing up with some potential opportunities, or we're making some phone calls to see what other schools are, potentially having the opportunities to play games this fall. And then, with the way the NCAA has given everybody permission to play some contests in the spring, we're looking at, whether it be one or, a scrimmage or a game, we're looking at those options. But as of right now, our main focus is starting October 10th against Black Hills State here.
Okay, and the last question I have for you, does the normal travel team go to the away games, or do you have to lessen it for this season?
Right now the RMAC has given us, as the teams that are playing football, kind of, your own rules in regards to the travel. For the most part, I think all of us have came to the conclusion that we are going to stick to that 60-man roster when we are on the road. If it's a closer contest, and we may have the opportunity to take a little bit more than that. But right now, as we're progressing forward, I'm more than likely going to stay within the guidelines of what the RMAC is going to allow within that 60-person travel party.
Okay. Any final thoughts, Coach Floor?
No, big thing is this is my first M week here at South Dakota Mines. Really excited for it. Obviously, a long time ago would love to have been playing an actual game for homecoming this Saturday. But just want to make sure that everybody knows, that our student athletes are doing everything that they can to make sure this fall season is going to go as planned. For me personally, I'm excited to see what M Week is all about here. Going to probably take my family to the volleyball game, and hope, and then everybody come out Saturday for our practice, and then Sunday go to the soccer scrimmage, and really show everybody that Hardrocker Nation is a family, and everybody that's involved, through our school and through athletics, that we all, should be excited about these times. And I'm a firm believer that sports is going to bring everybody back to some type of normalcy, and if we can continue to keep everybody on the same page, those things are going to happen. So really excited about this week. If you get the opportunity to play in the golf tournament, I'm really excited about that. I'm actually going to get a chance to play golf for the first time all summer long. So that's going to be great for me to go out and meet some of our alums, some of our boosters at the M Club or the Hardrocker tournament, and then show everybody what the football team is going to be like on Saturday afternoon. Appreciate everybody's help that has gotten us to this point, and we're ready to get go, and appreciate everything that everybody's done for us. Thank you very much, and go Hardrockers.
Thank you, Coach Moore.
We are curious. We are tenacious. We've got what it takes to change the world.
Next up, we'll have
As one of the nation's premier
Thompson,
engineering, science, and technology universities, South Dakota Mines is at the forefront of what's next. We embrace challenges, we let our curiosity lead, and we build a confidence supported by teamwork and collaboration. From our beginnings as a mining school to our status today as a world-class engineering and science university, South Dakota Mines continues to transform our students, our communities, and our world. South Dakota Mines, advancing the frontier of innovation.
Hello everyone, I'm Ryan Thompson, head coach of the men's soccer team. Entering my second year as head coach and third year as a Hardrocker. Some things this year that are going to look a little bit different than what we're used to. For one, we got a new assistant coach, Garrett Cool, who is also in charge of our Twitter page. If you haven't been there yet, please do. He has been doing some great work since he came in. Came in March, right before quarantine hit us, and new place, new people, didn't know anyone, and stuck with it, and he's really done a great job in the office and on the field. Our season, typically we play a fall season. That has been changed to the spring. So we will play 6 to 7 games in the spring in the RMAC, and then potential RMAC tournament after that in May. Some other things, people graduating in December, wanted to honor them. 3 graduating, they'll be honored on a Sunday at our scrimmage. 5 that will be able to play in the spring that are graduating in May. Otherwise, 11 new freshmen and 1 new JUCO transfer who is also a local Rapid City kid. So come out and see him. Just some expectations for our program. Unfortunately, we're hit with this crazy time. But playing in the fall, or practicing in the fall and playing in the spring has actually been very beneficial to us when it comes to growing the program. So Coach Cool and I are working on growing this program from the freshmen all the way up, and really kind of trying to find that identity that fits the school and fits our guys. So we're working hard out there. My last announcement is Sunday scrimmage, September 20th. 1 p.m. at O'Hara Stadium, and come out and honor the 3 seniors.
All right, we'll ask you some questions now. This one comes from our Twitter page. How does practice look in the fall? And what's your thoughts on moving from spring to fall as far as conditioning and competition?
So practices right now are, we're really trying to get our message across and what we want the team to look like. Obviously we're limited with social distancing and having to split the field and take different groups, and it's been pretty wild, pretty chaotic. We train early in the morning, so screenings need to get done at 5:30 a.m. Guys need to get to the field by 6. So days can be pretty hectic, trainings can be a little wild at times, but we try and stay course to what we want to do. The guys are very upbeat. They've really embraced this and obviously want to make a change to this program. As for, what was the second question, Brett?
Playing in the spring as opposed to the fall, as far as like what it's the elements and the competition.
Right. So we don't really know what it's going to look like. Obviously the fall is a typical soccer season. We're used to it where the weather isn't terrible yet. Well, when you flip that, you go to the spring. Obviously you get more snow, colder weather. So it'll be a challenge, and we'll kind of have to see how it goes. And the RMAC has given us an extended amount of time in that spring to fulfill any games that we may not have gotten to, and potentially play those in May when it's warmer outside.
Okay, and speaking of the RMAC schedule, there is a championship at the end.
Yes.
This question is, what's the format for that tournament?
So 6 to 7 games will be the regular season. As for the championship, the top 6 teams will make the RMAC tournament. So 6 of the 11 or 12 teams will make it in. So we have a pretty tough schedule, but with this additional time for trainings and getting our formation down and everything we want to do, we think that we can hopefully win some games and make a push for that RMAC tournament.
Okay. This is a 3-part question that came from our Instagram account. Will there be more games on Dakota Field this year?
Yes, we are officially moving to Dakota Fields for our home games.
Okay, so then the second part of that question is, why did you move away from Sioux Park?
Sioux Park has its issues in that it is too small of a field for the college game. It had originally been grandfathered in, but it's so tight, and with bigger bodies, it just doesn't allow for much space. Typically, fields that we play on are 120 by 70 yards, and Sioux Park falls short of that. So we opted to move out to Dakota Fields because more and more people were asking us to find a bigger field to play on. And Dakota Fields has welcomed us with open arms and given us a college-sized field to play on.
And then the third part of that question is, why can't we play at O'Hara Stadium?
Well, we practice at O'Hara Stadium, but the biggest issue with O'Hara Stadium is there's no soccer lines. And it's also not wide enough. A lot like Sioux Park, it doesn't provide the width. So that is it.
Okay, that's all the questions we had. Final thoughts for this coming weekend, or?
I appreciate everyone joining us for this, and I hope that we see you all this weekend at volleyball, football, and then the soccer scrimmage at 1 p.m. on Sunday at O'Hara Stadium. And thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you, Coach Thompson. And please join us again tomorrow, 11 a.m. for a statement from women's volleyball, cross country, and men's and women's track. I'm sorry, men's and women's golf.